Hey, thanks for checking out the video. If you all like it, please like and subscribe, and hope you all enjoy it. Have a great rest of the day.
Up to 2023, we restored historically the windows, the plaster ceiling upstairs. We took out the drop-down ceiling, restored the plaster ceilings. We redid the roof up above us. We redid the 88-89 edition roof and the 2000 children's wing roof so that it looked like one building. Used to have 3 different roof systems on it. They were all different colors, and my vision was one unified building. I think it looks that way now, which makes me happy. We redid the hardwood floors. There was carpet upstairs. They peeled back the carpet, and the almost 100-year-old floors that are now 102 were refinished. I took out all the light fixtures upstairs and went on Etsy and bought all 1920s light fixtures. So pretty much the upstairs has been restored back to the 1923 house Dr. Horde built for him and his family. So we're very proud of this facility, and has a lot of character, and it's not institutional, and I think it brings a warmth and a vibrance to people using this service for the city. I'm delighted that Michael is with us today. He is our museum director down the road. He's been with us for about 6 months, and in my opinion, he's one of the best ones we've had in a long time. He's absolutely,
Don't build my ego.
He's been very fabulous to work with, and hopefully we'll be able to collaborate and do a lot of things together in the future.
Definitely many more walking tours and historic tours. So if you guys are really into history, we're definitely going to build this city up when it comes to Kings Mountain and everything with it. So
today we are going to start and be here for 30 minutes, do a 30-minute walk, and then we're going to go to the museum for 30 minutes while Michael tells us about his building. So upstairs, I have out all of the boards that we did for the centennial celebration that we did, and it kind of explains the house, explains Dr. Horde and his family. And it also, in the archive room, there's a bunch of stuff about the Mauneys. So Jacob and his wife, their children, in about 1945, bought this house. Dr. Horde's second wife had died, and it was vacant. And so they bought this house and gave it to the city in their parents' name to start the library. And of course, the library was just 2 rooms at that time in this house, and there was a teacherage, and the teacherage later became apartments in the 50s and 60s. And then the fire marshal shut them down in the 70s, and it became just the library. So you are welcome to go upstairs, look at all the boards. I can answer any questions. There are granola bars and coffee and stuff up in the break room that we have upstairs. That used to be a bedroom. So if you need some water, so if you need some fuel for the walk, please take some stuff.
That's what it was.
So this used to be the old doctor's house, and then they just changed it like multiple times. Yeah. So it's an historical building. Where's the F&M? Pretty cool. How old is this building? Yeah. How's this, 100 or 200 years old?
200. Something like that. Guess we'll find out. We'll have to ask again, I guess. Some of the flooring was redone.
Right. Solid,
So how old is the house again?
It is 102 years old.
102 years old.
102.
Huh. That is pretty old though.
It's history, man. History right under your feet. Don't you smell it, guys? Doesn't it smell refreshing?
It definitely does, though.
Yesterday.
You gosh darn right. Yeah, that's me. Oh gosh. Huh.
Okay, so here's where they redid the roof.
Oh yeah.
They're all broken down, I guess.
1923 house roof project.
Wow, that's a newspaper from 19. Yeah, that's,
This is so cool though. Oh gosh, don't want to touch the newspaper though.
no.
That thing will definitely rip under your hands.
So scrap it. Can that be touched?
I'm sorry.
Don't be sorry. Be the firstborn.
I'm sorry.
Be the firstborn. And you did it again.
Don't be sorry,
I'm the
but
firstborn.
no. I had to think about it.
You had an older sister.
I'm the youngest.
That's like a weird trick.
But I grew up around a lot of talkative people. So
I'm not sure the wrong one.
I am. I can be.
It's
I'm
Sorry.
I'm a Yankee boy with Southern blood, so.
I believe it.
Was there a side entrance to this house? Because I see 2 sidewalks.
That is a great question. Is there a side entrance?
See, there's yes, downstairs in the YA room, it's been covered over, but you can.
Oh yeah, it's
Yes. And when there was apartments, this is one of the fundraising they had to have a fire escape.
Oh,
And this right here, you can feel the difference, there was a
there's a
stairwell.
cool part to this hallway.
And,
That's just
they
called
covered it over, but the guys that were doing the windows, they're in historic homes all the time because they only do historic windows. They cut them out of old houses, refinish them, and come and put them back. And he's like, Christina, look at this. I'm like, what, Tom? He's like, there was something here, I swear. So I started asking around the community, and this is where the stairwell was
good God, yeah.
for the apartments. Yeah. Or fire code.
for the body size.
Well, at least it's sealed. We'll never know.
At this point, it's rude to open it.
That's right. They're vaulted. They're safe.
the stairwell was right here. That's interesting. Huh. Oh, I have one of these at home. It's for heating up hot water. I love it. I love it a lot though. I actually use it to make tea and stuff. Actually, it's interesting as it sounds.
Do you have the lights and everything? Nice.
Mine's a little different though, but it still works pretty well. Before, as you can see, the disaster and the painting versus the new after.
Okay, so here's where they have the windows restored. Yeah, a friend of mine does historic remodeling for houses. Hey guys, these are the windows.
Those look like, I don't know if those are tiles out there or not.
There you go.
Those might be, but for the stuff, the tiles are,
That might, I think that's just slate tiles.
yeah, slate tiles and stuff.
Yeah, they built it like a sidewalk, I guess. You're built like a sidewalk.
Like a sidewalk.
I am a sidewalk.
That man is not right.
Oh, yeah. You know what I find interesting though is, gosh, those slate tiles look pretty interesting though. I'm gonna have to see about that.
Probably was. Because we used to have a slate tile roof.
She was ex-location, and then she was at East, and then she went from East to Grover. Spent several years at Grover.
You said you just recently passed.
She just recently, yeah, I think she taught up until she was in her 70s. Wow. I think she did.
That's the nice grass outside. Just a few years.
Oh, she was passed away. She must have seen a lot of stuff. People who died 100 years of life, especially the past 100 years of our history.
No,
They
yeah.
saw so much craziness. They saw so much.
Oh yeah, they've seen a lot, you know, people who,
What was it? Historical.
yeah, you know, exactly, you know, people who, you know, live 100 years, you know, or close to it, you know, they're so full of history. I mean, that's why I kind of wanted to become on this. Oh gosh. Oh my gosh.
Ask if we get a bag.
Oh yeah. You take one.
Oh, are you part of this?
No, but if you take one, then I can take one.
Kings Mountain area.
This isn't as far back as Revolution War. Yeah, we'll find out later. But, in 1863. So he would have definitely been alive. Yeah, so
George, JG.
this is the first doctors that we had in the area.
And so one of these bags is for everybody, if somebody put there's no card, a picture of the house on it, and I can't remember what else I put in there, but yeah, so there's one for everybody.
I'm not doing here. I didn't want to be perfect.
I am so green, yes.
You want the purple, green?
This is the exterior window restoration.
Yeah, they're for everybody, there's one for everybody. And there's another card with a picture of the house. Because I saw a tour downstairs that I did, and I thought,
Or plaster ceiling.
so yeah, so this really was that big at one point. We did not take it back out, we looked at it, but because it's structurally,
What, was that written that way? Those people must have been huge.
well, okay, so this was originally their upstairs parlor, so it just kind of gave them lots of space.
Open it, gotcha. Well, I did notice the roof over there in that corner where it's like a slate tile. It looks like it's almost like a pavement, like it's got mortar on it, but it's not shingles.
They are. That is a replica. It used to be Ludovici tile. When we had to replace it, I could not afford the labor.
Right?
And so that is a metal product, but it is a metal shingle. It is not a, yeah, I
So
mean, it's,
the part that looks like rock slate, it's not.
that is copper.
Oh, I might have my readers wrong.
The one back here, it's copper, and out here, outside of my office window is copper.
Which room had that slate? Like the.
That was the one down there at the end of
Is
the
there a
hallway.
coffee pot?
That's copper.
That's really.
Fancy copper that they did for us.
Not to rip this up, but there's like a more of a almost a horizontal slant on it, and it looked like rock slate.
Something like that. I don't-
Oh,
Yes, the room to the end of the hallway over here on the right. The hallway.
Yeah, and that's why, especially with no, central.
Not the actual.
This is copper.
That right there?
That is copper.
Oh my god! Oh, that's the patina.
Yeah, it's the
Okay.
it's patina. It'll eventually be. If you look on the backside, it's patinaed even more because of the direct sunlight it's gotten. Yep.
Obviously because of the shade that
Yeah, and all the gutters and everything are copper. So
That's
yeah.
awesome.
Well, that's pretty fascinating.
Yeah, my first thought was, wow, they used. I thought slate shingles used to be a thing, but I thought, do they do it like that too?
And that's I got that done the same time the roof was done. That roof was done, and that was about 4 years ago.
And is that all copper as well? Is that aluminum or?
That's metal.
Gotcha.
Mhm. And it is actually a special dye lot. I actually had to talk to the president of the company because when we put the 1923 roof on, that's what I was going to use the next year. They went bankrupt. And I had a heart attack. And the people that make the same product, but they didn't have the same color, he's like, oh, we know all about that. I'll make you a special dye lot.
Oh, because you can't have mismatched roofs.
And they're in Ohio, so thank goodness they're Americans, you know. So
Right.
he sent me 4 samples of 4 different things he tried, and that one was, you know.
Nice.
Oh, I had so many heart attacks doing
He's
these.
just remembering
Oh
it.
gosh.
You don't remember those. You don't ever forget those. Those things happen. Whoosh.
The roof monster can't hurt you. He's gone. He's all gone.
Yes, and they're supposed to last till I'm retired, so someone else's problem.
Oh yeah.
Once I die, I don't care what happens to it.
That's right. Once I'm gone, it's someone else's issue.
Well, that's good. Well, you've done a great job on it. You know, it takes a while. It takes a village to maintain all this stuff. You know?
And if the mom wanted them to come home, she took stuck a note in their collar, and one of them was saying coal and one was saying cinder, and she said, go find them.
Oh, just
And
put a
so-
bag
and
within a
Coal and
bag.
cinder would come and find us.
I like that.
And then if someone else needed their kid home, she would send coal and cinder out with
Well.
a note to tell the kid
Oh
to go
my
home.
word. You're crazy.
The dogs would go find us.
That was funny.
Oh my word.
Let me go grab some water. Excuse me.
You did a good job of it.
Me with Healthy Together Cleveland County, which I am now a coalition member of. But they, and you can see their logo here, they gave us the money to build all these signs and have them made, so they paid for those signs for us. And Scott's vision was to have it online and a QR code. So as you go by each sign, you can scan the QR code and it will tell you the history of the place that you're going by. And so it was a fun project, and we were, I love working with Scott. He's a wonderful person, very much has a heart for this community. And we had a good time doing this project together. So as you go by, this way you can, you know, go to different ones. Not everyone has to be at the same one. We thought we would go down Piedmont Avenue. Come up, and everyone likes to see Central School. And then if we come down Gaston Street, there's a couple of houses on Gaston, and then we'll end up at the museum, and the Women's Club is over there, which is a part of this tour. And as most of you know, Old City Stadium, which is what I was used to calling it, or Shoe Carlton Stadium, is always a point of interest for people to see. The optimism because we sit down in the city, their stadium, all down there. And, so everything, you know, kind of in this downtown area is really tied together when you look at the historical aspects of it. So, Michael, go ahead and start leading us.
All right, y'all. Let's start this walk, this journey. Everyone has a cell phone, right? I mean, we should use our.
Oh no.
Any questions so far?
When was
Got your tongue?
when was Kings Mountain area founded?
1874. Before then, it was known as White Plains.
Okay.
And so, when Dr. Tracy and his wife were living here, the train was coming through here around that time, and so they decided to rename the town in homage to the Battle of Kings Mountain. As many of y'all who are native, y'all know we are like 8 miles away from here, and so we are not on the original battlegrounds of what was once known as Battle of Kings Mountain. All right. So you come over here and not try to get hit. There's this QR code, all right? And as Christina mentioned, you know, the city with the vision of Scott Neisler's idea to, you know, inspire people to walk, because we tend to drive everywhere we go, right? You know, but on a beautiful day like today, we should all take a walk and learn some history about the city of Kings Mountain. So using your phone, put it on picture, then you see what is a yellow banner at the bottom. You click it, it says theclio.com, and then what appears is the website for Clio, and it will get you started on your walking tour of Kings Mountain. Alright? Perfect. Alright. Shall we proceed? Nice.
Yes, indeed.
Thank you, thank you. Alright, so let's try this again. Here we go. Alright, so we are in front of the Walton Garrett House. Walton Garrett House is a large two-story frame house with a mansard roof. This is the city's only remaining Second Empire structure. Built in 1874 by Isaac Walton Garrett, an early Kings Mountain merchant and leader, the house was remodeled in 1890 by Charles Dilling, who was Garrett's grandson. This rich Victorian gingerbread detail is found on the exterior and interior. It was the first house in Kings Mountain to have electricity in 1908, and as well as it still having the original switches as well. And as you all can see, it's still private residence, correct? See, one of the owners is just enjoying the day on the porch, which I would love to do right now. With my coffee, which he is probably doing. Yeah. Well, I had to type it in. But it's, you know, again, as I mentioned, I'm from Charlotte. When he mentioned Freno, he said Freno. I'm like, Freno? He was like, yeah, Freno. I'm like, is that how y'all speak it? Say his name in Kings Mountain? Is that true? Freno? Freno Dilling? Freno? Freno anyone? No? It's Freno, right? It's not Freno, right? So Freno is spelled F-R-E-N-O. Is it Freno? It's Freno.
That's how I read it when I was reading it before you started talking about it.
He said Freno, so I mean he's from here, so I'm like, is that how y'all pronounce his name? And he's like, yeah, I'm in my 60s now. I've been saying it that way the whole time.
The speech lady does it that way.
I'm sorry?
The speech lady does it your way.
Freno? Well, I mean, you know, I mean.
Where we're from, people say,
I mean, you know,
In Rufton.
in Rufton,
exactly. I mean, you know,
Cherryville and Cherville.
yeah, exactly. I'll use Google Maps, you know, and I'll go through Pineville, but she'll say Pennville.
It's always been
Pennville, right? So
Just ignores the E.
I'm just saying. Anywho, so Captain Freno Dilling, an early Kings Mountain settler and industrialist who built the sawmill that supplied the railroad with timber, constructed this 1.5-story frame house with a multi-gable roof between 1872 and 1881. Now, he was one of the co-founders of Kings Mountain, along with the Mauney brothers, as well as Dr. Tracy and his wife. And I want to say there was one more, so don't hold me to it, of the founding fathers of Kings Mountain. This is one of them, Mr. Freno Dilling.
Captain.
Yes, he was captain. A lot of men who fought in the Civil War even though they weren't actually fighting as officers during the war. Afterwards, they would because of being respectable men in the community, they were given honorable titles like captain and colonel and major. So, yeah.
Sandy Moore.
So,
That's checked.
So Captain R.S. Sugg built this two-story I house. Yes, it was shaped as an I, therefore henceforth I house around 1874. The large portico was added in 1940. Sugg was a charter member of the Central United Methodist Church, which is in front of the museum, adjacent to the museum right across the street, and operated a drugstore where the Joy Theater now stands. For some of y'all know where the Joy Theater stands today. Yes. So his drugstore was there before the establishment of the Joy Theater.
And so one really cool thing you can do is if you have a library card, you can get on NC Live and you can look at the fire maps, the Soundborn fire maps, and there are maps of Kings Mountain back to 18 something, and it shows the streets and what was on those streets, all the businesses, and it's just kind of fun to go back and look and see how the city was gridded and what businesses were where. So that is something fun if you're into that thing. And it's
Don't y'all love this house? So beautiful, well manicured, wraparound porch. I always wanted to move to a house with a wraparound porch. Who's with me? Reverend John David Mauney house. In the Queen Anne style, this home was built around 1900 from John David Mauney and his new bride, Bessie Miller, France. They lived shortly. They lived here shortly before John became a Lutheran minister who served churches throughout Georgia and the Carolinas. This octagonal tower, neoclassical details, a hip roof with gables, and the decorative iron fence around the backyard are focal points. Now, I was told recently the owner painted it blue. Yeah, do you know what the original exterior of the house is?
No, but when Jeff and Priscilla Mauney owned this house for years and years and years, you know, there was a big privacy hedge all the way around it that got tore out, and it did look significantly, because the landscaping was so different, it did make it look a lot different, and it was a more sedate color.
Not enough cameras.
Yeah, so F-A-F-O. I'll let y'all know I got a little blurb. You know Trip Herndon. So a local who's still supportive of the museum, he told me he grew up on this property because this was all owned by the Mauneys, and he was like the grandson of the Mauneys. He said as a kid, he and his friends would play on this street like a bunch of hooligans, and he told me, don't let he said, don't let it how do you put it? He said, don't let a car come through this street, because we would throw like watermelons at it, tomatoes at it, and if it was snowing, throwing snowballs at cars. I always thought that was. Of course, you know, it's a small town. Everybody knew who the culprits were, so he would get in trouble at the end of the day. Is this not a beautiful church? Do we have any Lutherans in the group today? No Lutherans, no? This Gothic style Lutheran church is such the saying. So St. Matthew's Lutheran Church, I'm back on script, y'all, was chartered in 1876. A sanctuary was built by the end of 1879. It appeared to have burned in 1921 through a salvage part which still remains. These structure was built from 1953 to 1954. However, it burned on Christmas morning in 1999. The congregation rebuilt this structure within the same walls to preserve one of the county's leading pieces of Gothic revival architecture. So, is it the same thing? Yeah, it's the same. Yeah, so it's beautiful. I mean, you know, I love these, you know, old Gothic style churches. I mean, they don't build churches like this anymore. We're so used to the mega churches these days. Very European like it. Any questions? If I could look at the rings, I could tell you how old these oak trees are. But they're not probably, like, I would say no more than 75 years old. Yeah. All right, so Central School. It was built in 1876. The first Central School opened in 1878 and educated the boys from Captain Bell's Military Academy. State funded in 1905, the building burned in 1910 and was rebuilt the same year. It received accreditation in 1920, adding the 9th and 11th grades. All of its records were destroyed again by fire. Are we not seeing a common theme, y'all, with all these fires? I mean, come on. This happened in 1932. The present day Central School was completed in 1932 with a gymnasium and a cafeteria. The gymnasium is on the opposite side behind the school. I lost my place, please forgive me. The latter built by Franklin Roosevelt's New Deal Works Project Administration Lunchroom Program. Remember the New Deal, guys, as we move along on this adventurous tour. Central School was a member of the Southern Association of Secondary Schools and Colleges, a high rank for high schools, don't get hit, y'all, and became the junior high when Kings Mountain consolidated schools into one system. Central School closed in 1994 and was converted into offices, and then afterwards, as we can see today in present time, Gaston Christian has taken over this school, and they have expanded from where they originally started in Gastonia to now they have a pretty much a satellite school here in the Mountain.
They had a small satellite in Shelby, and they were looking to expand and were looking for a place, and the school district had this for sale. Perfect.
Yep. This would have been perfect for a museum. Because God knows I need some space.
You need more room.
Girl, you ain't never lied. All right, shall we move on? Yeah, do we have a, oh yeah, it's gonna be on this side. Any questions so far? No questions. I'm just giving y'all all the answers and information. Y'all have nothing.
There? I don't guess we're old enough.
Did you know anything about the McGill?
McGill Family Gymnasium.
That's one of the first ones. Where Cleveland Animal Hospital is right now.
Oh, okay. So he was a veterinarian?
No, he was a people doctor, but it's just now a veterinary doctor.
They were in development.
The McGill family?
And they also have a sawmill.
Okay. Are they the McGill store in York?
I think kind of related.
Okay.
But everybody knows.
All right, so Paul M. Neisler House, a good example of the neoclassical revival style with Georgian, I'm not gonna get hit, am I?
No.
Georgian revival elements. This home was designed and built by Paul M. Neisler, treasurer of Neisler Mills in 1940. Painted and signed by Mr. Settlemeyer in December of 1941. A mural on the walls of the basement media room depicts local teenagers dancing. Interesting. We should knock on the door and
She knows them.
yeah, to see if we could go down in the basement.
There are pictures online.
Okay, there are pictures. There's
went there
pictures.
to a party when the Nazis were there.
Nice.
Flirt.
Sounds kind of creepy.
So, just to let y'all know, for the ones who aren't familiar with Kings Mountain pretty much was built upon mills, and so along with the Mauneys and the Neislers, they were like one of the leading industrialists in the town of Kings Mountain, with Neisler Mill, Margrace Mills, Kings Mountain Mills. I mean,
Almost
the
all the
mills.
mills were named after the man's wife.
Man's wife, like
Like
Margaret
that-
and
that-
Grace.
That
Yeah, Mauney.
house over there,
Mm-hmm.
his wife, he did the Bonnie Mill. Well, the Bonnie Mill was over there where City Hall is now.
Thank you.
And the Sadie Mill is at the end of the thing, and the Pauline and the Phoenix. Wow. And the Margrace. All of those are their wives' names.
Yeah. Thank
She
you.
needs to be hired.
She is correct.
Well, again, if you go in and you look at those fire maps, you can see all that.
All the
And
mills
you can
and
see where they're
whatnot.
located, and it makes a lot of sense.
The Neislers still have that home? They do.
They still, so the Neislers still own the house. Church of Kings Mountain
The First
began
Presbyterian Church.
with 18 members on April 5th, 1884. In 1936, Mrs. Ida Neisler gave the lot for the current structure designed by Weiner and Fink of Philadelphia in the English Gothic style. The great chancel window portrays the life of Christ in medallions. On the front. Which church came first? Baptist? Baptist and then Methodist.
Oh, yeah.
I have some Scots-Irish, Ulster Scots blood in me, so I'll rep my Presbyterians. I also have some German stock, so I should be the Lutherans too, but I forgot. Named after the famous high school
Issue
football coach
Carlton
of Kings
Stadium.
Mountain. This is the football field from what Christina was telling you all earlier in the tour. This is where the high school football team used to play their home games. In the black and gold games.
All over the street. I mean, the parking.
Oh, the parking
Where the
should have been,
Optimus
don't get it.
Optimus kids play now, so don't come to town if you don't want to dodge the car.
Yeah, it's still insane, right? It's still crazy. I heard about the rivalries between y'all and Shelby. Oh my goodness, I'm staying out of the way. Staying out of the way. Women's Club.
Kings Mountain Women's Club.
Gotta wait for the Russia to cool.
Right there.
Alright, so Kings Mountain Women's Club, organized in 1905 primarily to beautify and care for the Mountain Rest Cemetery, which is behind us and behind the football field. The club soon became a civic league, realizing other needs in the community. It began to put on flower shows, which continue today as the Fall Festival. The group joined the North Carolina Federation of Women's Club to become a women's club in 1923. Meetings were held in Pythian Hall over Griffin's drugstore until a permanent home was needed. Mr. Charles Neisler, familiar, promised much for the new building, so the women began raising funds in 1931. Many generous contributions, including Doris Mauney, who donated $10,000 in honor of his wife, Sadie. The first meeting was held in 1932. The Women's Club is still active today, working for the betterment of Kings Mountain. And for the ones who live in Kings Mountain, who are not members, y'all should be members. These women are fantastic. They're great at many of the things that they do. Can you attest to that? Christina, help me out.
Yes, and this is also a rentable venue. I just did my librarian's children's librarian's retirement party in here a couple of weeks ago, and it is a great venue to rent as well, and that's kind of how they raise funds to keep the building going.
Kings Mountain's post office, which was built in 1940. City of Kings Mountain was funded a post office by the WPA, which was created and started by President Franklin Delano Roosevelt. This is a federal style building. For the locals who remember, can y'all give us some nostalgia about this post office? Anyone? No? Yeah. And so this building is very unique, and I'm going to show you all why it is so unique, even to this day. So this served the city of Kings Mountain as the post office from 1940 up until the middle of the 1970s, somewhere around 74, 75. It would move to the present post office that we know today, which is on Gold Street, which is behind and adjacent to the museum in Hamrick and Warlick Insurance Company. All right, shall we go in?
Yes, sir.
I know you guys are ready to go inside. Come on in, come on in. Come on in. So this building was vacant up until the 2000s, I want to say, after the post office left. And it really was in bad shape. Back in the 90s, the police department was thinking about, or the 80s, the police department was thinking about using this as their precinct. But they decided to go with a new building with the funds that the city of Kings Mountain would afford them. So they are stationed across the street from us today, and that's where they are located. So by 2000, the organization of Kings Mountain Historical Museum Foundation decided to go with this location. The city awarded them this place, and so we rent it for $1 every year. For us being a 501c3 nonprofit, we tend to get good benefits like that. And so we are supposed to keep it in good condition, and the city affords, help with us whenever we need some maintenance. And so over the years, we were able to restore this back to its glory. As you all see him above my head, we have the postmaster, and as you all can see, they painted all the words, even with the office hours. I love this. Every day I come to work and I'm like, wow, I'm going back in time. Literally, I'm going back in time. Office hours, these are my actual hours. But these are the same hours that I work with as well. I was told in front of you was the counter for service which is behind the shelf. We can go around, which was to offer any of the public for any services as buying stamps or needing to talk to the postmaster and whatnot. And before I almost forgot because it's above my head, every Workers Progress Administration post office and or federal building was typically awarded a mural. So, and that mural was supposed to depict that area's history. And so because we renamed our town in homage to the Battle of Kings Mountain, we had our New Deal muralist by the name of Rona Burkhart depict the Battle of Kings Mountain. So this is what you all are seeing. Unfortunately, there were no redcoats during this battle. They were all just mountain men who were from the area. Really, the British soldiers, majority, you could correct me, weren't from England, they were from America.
Tories.
We're Tories, exactly. A lot of historians, thank y'all. And so we still, nevertheless, we still love this mural, you know, because it really honors our history today.
And the counterpart to that mural, there's actually two. It is in City Hall. If you walk in the huge entryway and you look on the back wall, there's a counterpart to this down there.
Yeah, because eventually when the post office moved out of here in the 70s, City Hall, the City Hall took it. And then I guess when City Hall was
So City Hall used to be here, where the police department was. John Henry Moss in the late 60s, early 70s built that City Hall. And so the city really owned a lot of property around here, and then the PD went back over there.
Right. And so when they did some restoration work too, right, in City Hall, they decided that, hey, it should go back to the museum. And so it's been here ever since, which was around 2015, 2016.
It hasn't seemed like it's been that long.
Yeah.
But there is still one at City Hall as well.
Yeah, if you want to see that. So the counter was here. I was told there were P.O. boxes here. There wasn't any opening. And so if we go around, if they needed to send letters out, they would, if it needed to stay in town, it would go through the city letters. And if it needed to go out of town, it would go through the out-of-town letters. We still use this today when visitors come by and we ask them to do a survey. If they're from town, we ask them to put in city letters. If they're from out of town, we ask them to put in out-of-town letters. Yeah. And so, as she mentioned, one of our founders of the organization of Kings Mountain Historical Museum was John Henry Moss. Y'all may know him, very noted resident who started who's a big baseball guy that started the Sally League. If you're a baseball fan, it's the Southern Association League or Southern League that still is present today. He helped us get the museum started along with many residents like the Mauneys, the Nislers. The list goes on and on, as you all can see with the placard as well. Over here, please, I know usually my mom raised me better than this to show the mess, but please excuse the mess. We're doing some renovations. So. Over here is where many of the residents would receive their mail with the P.O. boxes. And so, this is what the P.O. boxes look like. They were much shinier, but I mean, with the patina, you know, it's pretty cool. Still cool. Any questions so far? Now, do y'all want to see the cool stuff?
Yes, please.
All right. Let's get off.
I want to
All right, so we'll go into
Okay,
the
come to my
office
house later.
one. Only so many people who can go into the office, so I guess we just need to form a line. So, as I mentioned, this was the postmaster's office. He had many things to do when it came to his duties. He was offered a bathroom. So today it's used as a closet storage space. You know, but back in his time, he had his own personal bathroom. All right. Cool thing about this storage closet, which used to be a bathroom, he had his own little security system. Before security cameras were around, if you all would come over here, you see a ladder that goes up. And so there's a loft. Did you know this? See, nobody in town knew about this. So there's a loft up here. If y'all would, come around, see it, you know, and then I want y'all to go out to the museum exhibit space, okay? Once y'all get a chance to see it, as I'm hanging onto the ladder. Yeah, you can come in, let me see. Look at that.
This is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Oh, I know what happens.
Yep. Yeah, then you see the,
So he's still in the closet there, over there, by the side.
I guarantee a lot of
hey y'all, I see you.
Yeah, he's up in the wall right there.
Oh, okay. So you can pick up the
So he was able to peer over his staff to see what they were doing. Because this was a 1940s building, we got to remember it was during World War II, and then right after World War II you had the Cold War, so you had communism. At the time the government was fearful of Americans infiltrating the system by giving information out to who? The evildoers, right? So postmaster would come up here, see what his staff was doing. If they weren't stealing information or giving away information, he would have to make a report about it. Also, when the FBI would come to town, they would use this area as well. So you see, there are, I want to say, 7 slits that open up. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Look at the bottom, 5, 6. At least 6, I want to say. I can't really see up here, guys. I'm in the dark. I'm scared of the dark. Coming down.
Those are very good scares.
And those little lines, there.
Post offices had safes as well to hold any, you know, private items that people in the community were receiving or sending out. They would put it in the safe. Today we use it to preserve all the documents, all the historical documents related to the city of Kings Mountain today.
Is it climate control or is it?
Because it being a safe, yeah, it's sealed up. It's pretty much climate control all on its own.
Public humidity and whatnot. And if y'all have a dehumidifier.
Yeah. Who wants to go downstairs so we can see pretty much the bomb shelter?
Me.
Yeah. All right. Because again, this building was constructed in the 1940s during the time of wartime, no peace. You know, along with communism, we were always in fear of, you know, the Russians bombing us. I mean, many of y'all, my mom was born in 1945. She was still, you know, having to go to school, doing drills to go under her desk because they were fearful of the Russians bombing America. So, like any small American town, there were shelters. Y'all would come and follow me. It's going to be loud because we have dehumidifiers going off right now. Watch your head. Room. They use this as storage space. Don't y'all feel like you're going back in time? Again, this is the mannequin room. To your right, my left, is our small collections room where we keep some of our collections. We originally, when the museum opened, this was the only, I was told this was the only space they had to keep any of the collections and any documents that needed to be archived. Over the years, as they kept finishing the basement, they were able to use the our large collections room.
I like it down here. It's nice and cool.
It is.
Oh, look at that thing.
Some cool stuff down here. We all in here? So this is the large collections room. As you all can see, this is where we keep our larger items. A lot of the items you see relate to the history of Kings Mountain. But if you all would follow me, as you all can see, we keep everything in boxes, as well as with paper, wrapping paper to keep everything in its finest condition. You all would come around. Oh yeah. No, the dresser's upstairs. See, y'all should have reminded me about the wedding dress.
Oh yeah.
And so you may see the white matted wall behind some of you all. We just restored the basement because we were getting a lot of moisture and floods in the basement. So we were able to, through the city, get a team to build a French drain here in the basement so that there would be no moisture, which would lead into mold, on the items. We don't want that. And so they just completed this project back in April. And so we are happy to say that this is in its best condition ever since we started placing things down here in the basement. Any questions? Do we not have some cool items?
This is amazing. Yeah, that TV over there is insane.
Yeah.
What about you still take a dress like I had?
That was a letter, actually.
Yeah.
For 1958.
It's just a list of
Yeah.
my stuff she had in her kitchen she didn't want anymore when they were taking
It's in
donations.
good shape, but I
They don't season in cast iron.
You
should
still
get-
take a dress.
Yeah, we're still, unfortunately, we're trying to hold on to it. Get it appraised. Try to find, try to go online and
My
find.
children don't want it, and I know eventually I'm gonna pass, and I
Yeah.
just don't know what to do with this dress. I hate to throw it away, but.
Any questions? Any questions? No questions? A lot of the hangers behind you, we have clothes that date back to the Victorian time up into the 1920s. We also have military uniforms like World War I, World War II outfits as well.
You do need a bigger museum.
We do. We really do.
That's your canteen collection up there.
Yeah, you can.
Yeah, you can tell what those are.
Does anyone know what this item is? All right, so we're going to the shelter. We need to be careful. We need to be mindful. So this is the boiling room. As you all can see, we have the boiler. Uh-oh. They don't want to see here. So come on through. If you don't want to be in here, I totally understand. It was worse before they put in the French drain. Believe it or not, somebody had to man the boiler throughout the day to keep the building warm. So there was at least one or two people down here shoving in coal throughout the day. So this is the boiler room. The next room to it is the coal room. So this is, as the name says, this is where they stored all the coal, and you still see remnants of the coal today. We had, when my predecessor was here, January, she was bestowed all the coal that was still here. And so one year she managed to get a guy to take out all the coal. But again, there are still remnants. You still see some of the coal over here. And so you see the two open shafts. This is how they would haul in all the coal, and it would stack up and pile up, you know, all the way to the top. And so, as I mentioned, the man or men who were manning the boiler room, they would have to come in here, and behind some of you all, there are coal buckets. They would collect the coal and then put it into the boiler room, or the boiler room. Go into the boiler room and put it into the boiler.
Was that not the coal chute in there?
No, the coal chute
No,
is-
but open the door and you could get the coal out.
You
Right
could
there.
get it out here, but a lot of times they had to come in and use the bucket, so, yeah.
No, but in the other room, with the blue door is.
Yeah, it was that too, but they had to come in here because.
And get it, okay.
Yeah. Because we got the coal buckets.
You still got the coal buckets?
When did they stop using the boiler?
That's a good question. I don't know when central AC and heating. Y'all really putting me on my toes right now.
You'll find out.
Yeah.
So, there were people working here literally just to transfer coal from one place to another.
I mean, if you don't believe me, there's a locker. You see the locker room? Lockers here. In the big closest bedroom, locker. It was a job. And so, you see, this was their main entryway and exit. They couldn't go inside and then come down the basement. No, they came from the side door to go down.
Are these part of the roof?
There's a lot of mysterious items here in the museum. I'm still trying to figure out why we have, it's slate, yeah, they're slate. I don't know how we got them. They were used before, but there's no record or any documentation telling me how we got them, where we got them. I mean, this is like even before January, if I'm not mistaken, so it was my predecessor. All right, please do not fall in here. That's why I'm like hovering over it, because this is the pump. Yeah, so whenever we get floods on a rainy day, it would start working and going up. It's like 6 feet down. So, yeah, I don't want y'all falling in. All right, so any questions?
Oh, yeah, this is where they come drop all the mail? Probably have big old bins and bring them in out?
Yep. So every day, you know, they would, because of the loading dock, they would load and unload mail out here. And under our feet would be the coal shafts. As I was mentioning earlier, we were downstairs, they're right below our feet. Also, because we're a museum, we try our best to preserve, you know, and archive all sorts of items and documents. We also try to preserve historic structures like the ones in front of us. Barber cabin was built between 1810 and 1840. Unfortunately, we don't know the precise dates, but we do know it's between 1810 and 1840. It's one of the last remaining original cabins in Cleveland County. And then we have the Cornwell House, which was built around 1876. George Washington Cornwell and his wife, he built this house for his wife when they first got married. They were also one of the first members of Kings Mountain Baptist Church, aka First Baptist Church. And so he was a harness maker, and so he would accumulate his wealth and build a bigger home, move out of here. This would become a antique store after a while, believe it or not. And so today we're trying to preserve it. We're trying to figure out what to do with it, how to use it, because really it's not in its original form. There's like a hall that leads to nowhere. There's just like a living room and a bedroom, and that's it. It's not much else. So.
Is that the original side of that whole thing?
Oh, we talking about I would say, reading how this cabin got here, it was on a farm. It was used as a tenant cabin up until the 50s. And then over time, the farmer would just use it to like store items. And so over time, the wood, we still have some of the original wood, which is down in the basement. You may have noticed it in the cold room. And so I would say only 20% of that wood was saved. So 80% is not of its original. Yeah, it's reconstructed.
Same size, same layout and everything?
Same, bones are original and whatnot. So everything exterior-wise is not.
We know that one has a functional fireplace in it too. They'll do cooking reenactments and stuff.
Yep.
He did.
Yes, we have one person who uses the hearth to do. If y'all are thinking about going somewhere else, I advise y'all to go to Flossie's. They have the Nutty Nutcracker. It's one of the largest nutcracker collections on this side of the Mississippi. And before I got here and I met the owners of Nutty Nutcracker, I never really thought of nutcrackers being such a big thing. I always equated it to Christmas, but there's a real actual following when it comes to nutcrackers, and they have everything from like AC/DC nutcrackers to the president nutcrackers to historical figure nutcrackers to Star Wars. All the characters of Star Wars, you name it, is awesome. They have nutcrackers from this size to this size to, actual life size.